So yeah, tell us a little about of that recording process. Like what is, let's see, because there is something special about that improvisational process that we did. Why don't you tell us a little more about that?
Well, the whole process of the album is it springs from
Heaven above.
it springs from heaven above. It springs from improvisation, and for me, improvisation is really where that's where it is. That's where we are right now. Right. So you're on the edge of things, and I think that's where truth lies. I think that's where spontaneity, right? It's the now, right? So directions. As you know, that was a melody that a spirit melody, as you called it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and you offered that to me, and I said, "Yeah, I like that."
Forgot that.
So yeah,
Medicine melody.
a medicine
That's the
melody.
word.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I really like this song, especially because I use flutes from 3 different makers on this particular song, and it's just nice to be able to, have a little piece of each one of those flute makers in this song.
And your drums.
Right, and I have a drum that the drum you hear is this hand drum, and I don't know. I was surprised by this song. When I heard, when you sent it to me, I was surprised, and the vocals are very nice. So I'm using a low A minor flute.
Native American.
A Native American flute,
Mm-hmm.
made by Colin Peterson. I'm using, I guess it's 2 flutes, 3 flutes. 2 of them are from one of the same makers. So Ed Freebeck made the mid-range Native American flute that I use, and then he also made the drone E Native American flute that I use.
A whole under. Oh yeah.
Yeah, all
That's
in
the
one.
one we already released.
Yes,
Yeah.
already released that.
What
But
flutes are in there?
It's a Chinese Xiao, lowest note B on this particular flute. I really love that song. I just love the laid back feel to it. Even the flute melody on this one, it almost has like this I don't want to say a shuffle. It's more like you're behind the beat. It feels in some of the parts of the melody, right? So it's just like a slower, I don't know, feel to it. Laid back, I guess.
Laid back. And then we got Trailblazers.
Ooh, I really like that one a lot. My 2 favorite F sharps are used on this.
Native American
Native
as well.
American flutes. Jeffrey Ellis. He doesn't really make Native American flutes anymore, but this was. I was visiting him actually, and he gave me this flute. It was in a box. He had a recording studio, and he had the flute itself just sitting in this box. He's like, "Hey, do you want this?" I said, "Yeah, sure."
That's the lowest or the
That's
highest
the
one?
lower one. And then he opened a drawer and pulled out this block for the top. He said, "Here, let's put a block on it." And it turns out it's a beautiful sounding flute. And then for the high F sharp solos on that, I'm using a Cowdy Old Man F sharp. And man, it just cuts right through, and it's a beautiful couple of melodies, little solos there.
Then Springtime Dreaming.
Springtime Dreaming is a CIIS Xiao, and it's made from curly Douglas fir, so it's a really beautiful flute as well, made by Jeffrey Ellis. Yeah, this one, it's one of my favorites actually on the CD.
I agree.
The whole song all the way through, I really enjoy it.
And we have Within.
Within, yes, that's actually this is a low F. I guess it's a Coyote Old Man flute, but he would call it a hybrid prayer rock flute. So it's low. It only has 4 holes, right? So you kind of have to play it, like this, stretched out. And I got it from him. I bought it from him at the World Flute Conference.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to use it on this album. And it's really a solo piece that is just an improvisation. And then, you put the sounds, the rain and the forest, and it's a really beautiful one too. It really kind of takes me, whenever I hear it, it kind of, I don't know, brings my attention upward for some reason. Coming Home, that's another Coyote Old Man flute. It's God, I must have bought that in 2000 it's one of his early, back then he was calling them Anasazi flutes, but so it was one of his earlier prayer rock flutes. And this song is it's a beautiful. The first time I heard the song, I thought I always wanted to be a part of a song that was beautiful, and this was it. And I first time I heard it, I thought, oh, it's a beautiful song. All of the instrumentation that goes with the flute, it just enhances the flute, and it really is a wonderful piece. Using a rav drum, so it's kind of like a hand pan, but it's actually a steel tongue drum, and I'm using a flute called a Mojave 6 that Jeffrey Ellis made, and the first time I heard this song, I wanted to hear it again. And so there's a quality to it, with that rav drum, and when we first recorded it, at the end of this, you said, just go ahead and just improvise with the rav drum, and I was just hitting it, making a melody, trying to stay within some sort of rhythmical foundation, and I thought, I think I even told you, I said, I don't know if you're going to be able to do anything with that, but it turned out great, and I'm really happy with that song.
From the Deep. Ooh.
Man, this one was one of the last songs. Was the last song that we recorded, actually, and it just came from, me wanting. I don't know, it just came to me, something about the deep, something about, I wanted to make a song that went deep, and I believe I called you and I said, you know what, I have the title already. It's called The Deep, and I want to use, there was particular flutes that I wanted to use. I wanted to use my bass, Native American flute G that Jeffrey Ellis made for me, and then I wanted to move to a mid-range G, which Colin Peterson made for me, and then I wanted to move to the prayer rock flute that Coyote Old Man made for me. And this song, when you put wails on it, right? The beginning are these wails, and it's just a wonderful. It's kind of weird. At the beginning, it kind of shakes things up in a way, and lifts you up at the same time. And the interesting thing at the end of that song, I go from a mid-range back to a lower flute, but you still feel uplifted at the end. And then you're hearing wails going back to where they came from, the deep. And yet you still feel uplifted. So I really like that.
In Omens of Change.
In this song, I'm using a G prayer rock flute that Cow, the old man, made for me, and I love cellos and violas and violins, and so there's a lot of that in there. But I also wanted to have crows in there. I love crows. There's just something about this bird that I enjoy. And you did such a good job with the crows that, sometimes I'm listening to it and I can't tell if I'm really hearing them from outside or if it's the recording, right? It's that way. Yeah, I was looking up crows. I think I was looking it up in Animal Speak. And so it's a tarot deck of animals, but, the book that was with it. And they talk about crows as being omens of change, and that's where I got the name from. But it also has to do with the times that we're in, right? Things are changing, and my hope is that it's for the better.